In my previous video, we took a look at these 4 toy trains in a tin. If you hadn't seen that video, I'll include a link in the upper right hand corner. It wasn't long before this video was released that I found out that there were even more variations of it I had not known about. Westminster, who offered the red toy train in a tin, also sells a holiday train in a tin. The locomotive and the track are the same, but the coal tender is now labeled Coal for Naughty Children. It has a hopper car loaded with toys and labeled toys instead of the boxcar, and it has Santa and his sleigh instead of the caboose. Well, let's start back at the beginning. In the 1960s and 1970s, Durham Industries imported toy trains made in Hong Kong. They are best known for their inexpensive battery and clockwork-powered O-gauge trains. But they also imported these tiny trains from Hong Kong as well. Notice that this train has a Western theme to it. That would probably place it back in the 1960s, when Western shows and movies were all the rage. Notice also that the ends of the track pieces are different from what we see in the toy trains in a tin set. These pieces could be put together in either direction, and it also includes a crossover piece to make a figure 8. The tank engine was sold as part of a Stop and Go Super Express set by Echo Toys. Echo Toys was famous during the 1980s and 90s for their affordable battery-powered G-scale train sets. My family has owned one since the 1990s, and I also included a link in the upper right-hand corner to it in action. It was sold as part of a set that actually included a pair of switches, Be Still My Beating Heart, as well as additional straight track, a tunnel, and a bridge. Echo also offered it in a mini train set that has a slightly different caboose, and I believe it has fewer track pieces and none of the accessory pieces. This Buddy L set dates back to 1975. The locomotive, tank car, and caboose that is included with it was unique to this Buddy L tabletop railroad set. It also had knuckle couplers instead of the hook and loop found on the other trains. It appears that after Echo Toys stopped making trains at the end of the 1990s, that they were sold to a new owner who then moved production to China. In the UK, they offered this miniature train set in a box. It had the American style locomotive and offered the same track pieces as the Echo offering. This Coca-Cola themed train set was found under the lid of popcorn tins sold by Coca-Cola. The trains themselves were made in China, so this dates back to sometime after 2000. I mentioned in my video on rebuilding a Playcraft F unit that any and every manufacturer who sold North American trains and rolling stock had to have an F unit in his catalog. Well, apparently the same is true with these battery-powered trains, as I bought this from YouTuber Car and Train eBay shop. It is an F unit, and its features are kind of in between toy train in a tin and the black train we saw earlier. It is Also made in China. It's got the plastic gears, but the wheels are more like the wheels on the black train than the wheels on the toy train in a tin. He sold it as being for parts only, but given a little bit of 3-volt power from a train transformer and adjusting the contacts, I got it to work with no issue. Besides the train sets in North America and the UK, they apparently also offered this train set in Japan. The body shell of the engine was based on a Shinkansen Generation Zero bullet train. The chassis of the freight cars now had coaches on them, and instead of a caboose, it has what appears to be a dummy unit, which is the same shell of the Shinkansen locomotive mounted onto an unpowered locomotive chassis. It was also manufactured in China, so this was offered by the new owners. According to a listing of it on eBay, it was called a Run Dream Super Express. In summary, these toy trains in a tin have quite a long history behind them. They've been manufactured, it appears, for at least 60 years in 2 different countries, and they were sold on at least 3 different continents and in a wide variety of designs. That's quite an impressive pedigree, one that any model or toy train company would be proud of. Someone had asked if these trains could perhaps run on TT scale track. But these old trains are roughly right in the middle between HO scale and TT scale. At the top we have an HO scale train, which runs on 16.5 millimeter track, a low battery powered train, which runs on 14 millimeter gauge track, and at the bottom we have what represents a TT gauge train, which runs on 12 millimeter gauge track. Thanks for watching until the end.